The ground ball right side. Palacios with the pick and the throw. And the Rays are winners. 3 ground ball outs in the 9th inning against Fairbanks.
The man was tired. He didn't really seem all that upbeat on that call. He was tired, I promise you. There was a rain delay last night, and it was like 10:30, and there was a rain delay in the 6th inning, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching the rest of this game. That's not even going to happen at all. The Royals fall to the Rays. 5-1 is the final, as the Royals, they were on a roll a bit there. They went 3 out of 4 against the Guardians over the weekend, and then had the day off, and then things I'm going to say fell apart or anything like that, but they did lose 5-1 there last night. It really kind of did fall apart after the rain delay, as we'll talk more about that coming up here on the Sports Ticket. Also today we'll chat about the NBA free agency. Also the Wimbledon second round is underway today in Grand Slam tennis action. And the WNBA All-Stars have been announced. Before we get to that, I did miss one of the local things that happened yesterday that we're actually going into yesterday. It actually happened on Monday as the K18 Twin Lakes League Baseball Tournament got underway Monday. And Beloit Blue beat Lincoln 14-8 in the only kind of play-in, I guess you'd call it, matchup, as Beloit Blue got the victory 14-8, and they move on to take on Smith Center. The first game will be on Friday at 11 a.m. there in Beloit, and then Osborne County and Beloit Red will play following that. Everything will take place on Friday for the championship semifinals, finals, and third place games. And all 4 teams that are remaining will advance on to the K18 East Region Tournament, which, let's see where that's... Top 4 teams advance to regionals to be determined. I'm not real sure where that's going to be yet, but that's the way the bracket looks. Again, they'll start at 11 o'clock and then have games 15 minutes following each game moving forward. So that's the K18 Twin Lakes League Tournament. Update for you. Okay, there's K18 softball going on. There's obviously Legion baseball as well. It's the time of year where things start winding down, and then they'll have state tournaments mid-July, and it's hard to believe we're coming up on August, and for the guy next to me, Matthew Rice, our intern with us today, school again coming up.
Yay.
Yay. You don't sound as excited as I think you should. No, I don't blame you. But, yeah, K18 baseball going on here this summer. All right, again, the Royals last night, rain delayed. Things didn't go great after the rain delay. Brady Singer actually had a pretty good game on the mound. Pitched 5 innings, allowed just 3 hits, 1 run, another earned, 3 walks was an issue there, and he did strike out 4. He had 88 pitches, and then the rain came, the rain delay. In the top of the 6th inning, I imagine he probably would have went out for the 6th, but when you have a rain delay, he's definitely not coming out after that. They finished the game with 4 relievers. John Schreiber gave up a run. Chris Stratton, seems like every time I read his name, he's giving up runs. He gave up 2 more. And Carlos Hernandez actually pitched a scoreless inning, did give up 2 hits, but then Nick Anderson came in, gave up another run there in the 9th, and that was it. 5-1 the final. The only Royals run came on a solo homer from Bobby Witt Jr. in the bottom of the 6th inning as they try to get back into it. Again, just the 1 run for the Rays through 5 on, and it was actually on a wild pitch by Brady Singer that got the run in for Palacios, who you heard there made the final out of the game. He also had a RBI double in the 6th. Palacios did. He put the Rays up 2-0, and that ended up being all they would actually need. But again, after that rain delay, things fell apart for the Royals and went by the wayside, as Matt Cotrero, their manager, explains what happened.
First run they scored, a couple ground balls that get through. You got to give them credit for putting the ball in play. Schreiber threw the ball well that inning. Next inning, the walks hurt us, but and then 1 swing home run, but did a good job of wiggling out of it in the 8th. But 1 run wasn't going to be enough.
So the Royals fall in that game. Final score 5-1. The Rays get the victory. They're now 43-42. The Royals are 47-40 on the season. Just kind of diving into it, Bobby Witt Jr. had one of the 6 hits for the Royals. Nice night for MJ Melendez. He went 3 for 3. Didn't drive any runs or score any runs or hit a home run or anything like that. But MJ Melendez needs confidence at the plate. He's at 191 now as average for the season, and he's got to get hits. I would think he'd be better off getting big hits with RBIs and home runs. But anything that gives him a little bit of confidence moving forward will be important for the Royals moving forward as well here this season. So the Royals, again, at 47-40, Rays 43-42. Game 2 of their 3-game series will be tonight, and that will be at 7:10. Ryan Pepio, I believe is how you say his name, 4-4 with a 4.40 ERA for the Rays, will go against Michael Wacha. The Royals, 4-6 with a 3.91 ERA here this season. Did you watch any of the Royals last night, or?
Can't.
Yeah,
Stupid.
Okay. You don't have the.
No, I'm not.
Don't have the Bally. I wouldn't pay for it either. Here, the thing I've always said about the Bally subscription, and that's what's a shame about the thing, is that a lot of Royals fans can't even watch the games. Yeah. And it was just I don't understand why they've done it like they've done it. But the thing with the Bally thing is, like, the Spurs have their games on Bally Sports, right? And Fox Sports Southwest. And it's like, if you could get everything, I would, like, all the Bally networks, I would definitely pay the $20 a month for it. Oh, yeah. Because I could watch the Spurs, I could watch the Royals, I could watch whatever you want. Thunder, if you're a fan of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And so if you could do that, I'd do it. But fortunately, on my cable package right now, I actually get Bally. Yep. And so I can watch the games on my streaming TV. But it is a shame that you can't get into it and actually watch the Royals, because especially when they're good, right? Yep. Like that was the great thing about back when the Royals were winning in 14 and 15, 13, 14, 15, and you kind of started in 13, and then 14 and 15, obviously, they made the World Series, that you could actually watch their games. They didn't have some weird regional contract thing with Bally, and of course, back then, most of us had regular cable, too. That is true. And so now there's been so many different things come up with either YouTube or Hulu, and Bally doesn't want to get into agreements with those people. I don't know why. I would think it would benefit both of them, but who am I to talk about it? And so, and then all the good news came, like, in the off season. They said Amazon Prime was going to purchase these, and then that fell through. And
like, what happened?
Yeah. So it was like, well, I would be cool with Prime. I already have Prime. Let's do it.
Right.
And so, yeah, we don't have it. So it is what it is, I guess. But as of now, I can still watch the Royals and see how they're doing here.
Yeah, I still say
summer.
MLB just needs to go to a one TV deal throughout the league, like every other sports league does, pretty much.
Yeah, and they have that for their first and second tier rights, but they don't for. The problem with Major League Baseball is there's 162 games in a season, so you can't. I mean, you absolutely have to have these regional type networks for your third tier broadcasting rights, because it's just unless the league themselves wants to facilitate how to figure out getting. What are you going to have? Probably maybe 10. The Yankees and Red Sox are going to have more national TV broadcasts. That's a given. Oh, yeah. But like if you're the Royals, you're probably only having. Honestly, there's probably like 5 or 6 national TV broadcasts for the Royals throughout a season. Sometimes they'll be on FS1. They had the one game on Apple TV this year. And then probably Prime and ESPN Plus does like their own special game of the week. So you still have to have a different subscription for that. Almost said prescription. It's not a medicine. You have to have a different subscription for that. And so it would be nice if you could get all those third-tier things put together, maybe under an umbrella that you could stream from MLB.com or something like that, or an app from MLB, put it on the Ballpark app and make it a TV thing too, or a streaming video thing as well. So I get where you're coming from. I would not be the person that would want to facilitate that for a 162-game Major League season. It's easier for the like the Chiefs and your 16 games, and even NBA, it's not easy either. You got to have the regional network to get if you want all the games to be visible, you at some point have to have that third-tier regional network.
At the very least, they should have regulations, because all it does is just screw us the fan over.
But it would be nice if, like, ESPN Plus would be the source instead of Bally, right? For that third tier. Like, you could get on there and just watch the games whenever you wanted, just like, K-State Sports, KU Sports. There's so much of that's on ESPN. Almost everything is now on ESPN Plus, whether it's baseball, volleyball, whatever it might be. So you actually get to watch those. So that's the bad thing about the Bally deal. Is like, and that's why it would have been good if Amazon Prime could have got the third tier rights to stream everything, and we could have gone away from Bally. But it is what it is.
I thought the Royals just go back to Fox.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that.
Well, that's the thing, is Bally bought Fox, so the regional part of it. So
which sucks.
Yeah.
I miss the Fox on MLB theme.
For sure.
That was the best way to open a game.
Yeah. So, there's that. Hopefully you've been able to watch some of the Royals games this year as they've had a very good season. 47-40 right now. They're 8 games behind the Guardians for first place in the AL Central. The Guardians are 53-30. The Twins are actually in second place at 48-37, 2 games ahead of the Royals in third. So that's where we're at in the AL Central. The AL East, 54-31 record for the Orioles, now ahead of the Yankees by a game. The Yankees are 54-33, and then the West, Seattle's 47-40. They're 3 games ahead of 43-42 Houston. And in the National League, the Philadelphia Phillies at 56-29 still have the best record in baseball. They're 9 ahead of the Braves in the East. And then in the Central, the Brewers are 51-35, 6 ahead of the Cardinals, who are 44-40. And the Dodgers, 53-33 on the season. They're in first place in NL West over the Padres by 8.5 games. If you're interested in where the Royals are at wild card wise, they do still hold the final spot in the wild card, a half a game ahead of the Red Sox, who are 45-39. Baseball. That's where we're at. That's your update on Major League Baseball. I don't have much else. Rain delay sucked last night because I couldn't watch the rest of the game because I wanted this thing called sleep, and then it just messed up the whole game for the Royals.
It's middle.
I know both teams have to go through it, but it's like, man, you got a pitcher that's doing well. So did the Rays, to be fair. Obviously, they had a pitcher that was pitching well. He had a shutout through 5. So, is what it is. You move on, play tonight. It's a 162-game season, as we always say. Marathon, not a sprint. Royals will be fine. We'll see how it goes for them moving forward. Sports Tickets brought to you by Kiever Brothers Automotive here on Katy Country 94. Want to move on to some NBA talk with free agency going on right now. I always love it when I'm a headline on ESPN.com. Free agency's winners and losers so far, and then there's the Clippers, and it's like, well, whatever. If there's the Clippers, fine, but free agency just started 2 days ago. How do you do winners and losers right now? I mean, I know a lot of stuff's going on. There's been trades. I don't like these winners and losers so far. Let's just wait until the free agency period's over. Then we can tell you who the winners and who the losers were. Yeah. The Golden State Warriors are losers right now, that's for sure, in free agency. They're talking about the Clippers, and obviously they lost Paul George. He didn't re-sign, but it's like, I don't know if the Clippers are the only team that I would mention in your headline when you say then there's the Clippers, because there's also the Warriors. And they've had opportunities to make moves. It sounds like they passed on and didn't get as good of a deal as they maybe could have. But we'll save the big news from this morning for last. We'll update you on what's happened since yesterday. We actually told you this on the Sports Ticket yesterday that All-Star guard Donovan Mitchell has agreed to sign a 3-year, $150.5 million maximum contract extension with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So he's moving on with Cleveland, staying right there and trying to build with what the Cavaliers have moving forward. Again, they made it to the Eastern Conference semifinals this year. The reason being that he signed just a 3-year deal is because that will put him with a player option in 27-28, and it gives him a chance to satisfy the NBA's 10-year service criteria, which would allow him to pursue a 5-year extension in 2027 that could be worth more than $380 million. We told you yesterday that Jason Tatum signed the biggest contract, 5 years, $314 million. So that's another $66 million that would be added to that, if I can do math in my head, possibly. Jason Tatum has the richest contract in NBA history, and Donovan Mitchell could, in 3 years, just blow that away, and we'll see. Like I said yesterday, a lot of people are going to say it's crazy that these people are getting paid this much money, but it is relative to the sport that they play, to the contracts that are given out. I agree. It's crazy. People shouldn't be making this much money for probably anything. Maybe if you're, well, I might argue you should make this much money if you're out fighting for our country or something like that. But, obviously teachers should make more money. The medical profession, I'm not talking about doctors, but like nurses and CNAs and aides and people that, believe me, I know what they do because I needed them for 2 months of my life 10 years ago. They should make more money. There's no question about that. But we're in relative terms of the NBA, and so that's how much money is getting thrown around. Moritz Wagner has signed a 2-year, $22 million deal to return to the Magic. Magic are also getting forward Jonathan Isaac on a 5-year, $84 million contract. Isaac making the move there. He's staying in Orlando, and Orlando's a team that's actually on the come up a little bit too, and had a good go around this year. Gary Harris has agreed to a 2-year, $14 million contract to stay with the Magic as well. So they're getting people to stay and moving forward with that. I don't know why this all of a sudden switched to July 2nd. Like, where'd all my news go on this thing? That was weird. Like, all this July 2nd and 3rd stuff was there, and there was only the one thing on July 2nd. Here we go. We got it back. Okay. Kyle Anderson's planning to sign a 3-year, $27 million contract with the Golden State Warriors. So, as the sign and trade will also include Golden State trading a future second-round pick swap and cash in the deal with Minnesota. So that's a look at the trades that are happening, things that are going on right now. Also, via post on X, 4-time All-Star Kemba Walker announced his retirement. 34-year-old guard played for the Bobcats, Hornets, Celtics, Knicks, and Mavericks during his 12-year NBA career. Obviously, the Bobcats changed their name to the Hornets during the middle of all that, so that's why he played with both of those teams. But, again, retirement for Kemba Walker. He had some good years in the NBA. I don't know why I can't click on his name and look at his stats and numbers. I'll pull that up here and tell you about Kemba Walker's career. There's some of these stories like that I'm looking at on ESPN where you can literally just click their name. It'll take you right to their page. That's what I did with one of the other players that I was just talking about. But apparently I can't do that with this with Kemba Walker. He has a career of 19.5 points a game. Again, he had some really good seasons. His best one was in 2018-19 with the Hornets, where he averaged 25.5 points, 6 assists, 4.5 rebounds. Kemba Walker, again, a 12-year career. He did not play this past season. He was in Monaco playing, not in the NBA. So he did play, but he didn't play in the NBA. His last season in the NBA will now be the one that he had in Dallas, the season before this past one, where he averaged 8 points a game in just 16 minutes. He played only 9 games and started one of them. So he's played only 9 games since the end of the 2021-22 season in the NBA. So Kemba Walker is retiring from the NBA and basketball in general, I'd imagine. I don't think he's going to be playing anywhere overseas if he's put in his retirement. So.
Yeah, probably not.
You remember seeing Kemba Walker play at all, like when he was at UConn? You're probably too young, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kemba Walker was just a stud at UConn. And obviously that played well and got him into the NBA, and he had a good career there. So, all right, all that's out of the way. Now the big news, breaking news. It's shocking news. Free agent LeBron James has agreed to sign a 2-year, $104 million maximum contract to return to the Los Angeles Lakers. It's not that shocking. Never mind. He's staying with the Lakers. The deal includes a player option and a no-trade clause. That is LeBron James and his contract situation nearly every season. I will decline my option. I will sign a new 2-year deal. I will decline my option. I will sign a new 2-year deal. There's been some 3-year deals mixed in there too, but it's smart business from LeBron James to sign 2-year contracts with a 1-year option because he is almost 40. And so you're like, how much more time does he have left in the NBA? One of the things that, and I'm not going to get into the popular discussion with Jordan and LeBron, but one of the things about LeBron James is the way that he's been able to sustain everything that he has. He'll be 40 December 30th of this year, right before the new year turns over. To be able to sustain the talent level, where he's playing at his career right now. And sure, I think everybody knows, he's had some injuries and maybe taken more time off just because of those injuries at times. But, he did play 71 games this past season, which is the most he had played since 2017-18 with the Cavaliers when he played 82. That's crazy to think about. This is the most games he ever played in a Lakers uniform. Wow. But again, still averaging 25.5 points a game, still averaging 7.5 rebounds, 8.5 assists. Like, it's all there still for LeBron James. Obviously, he's not probably quite as spry as he once was. He probably doesn't move quite as well as he did when he was at his prime and when he was helping Miami and Cleveland to championships and even the Lakers to that championship during the COVID year in the bubble finals at Disney World. Everybody calls it a Mickey Mouse championship,
Can't imagine why.
But, they got it. That's the way they did it. He won a championship with the Lakers. That year, he played 67 games. And that was the most he had played with the Lakers up until this year, where he played 71. And obviously, I mean, it was so funny. Like, he declined his option the other day, and I don't even know. I think it's like Basketball Forever. There's so many offshoot Facebook and Twitter pages, X pages, where they're acting like they actually cover basketball, and they really don't. They just throw out opinions. They throw out like it's like fan-sided, if people remember those websites and Bleacher Report. To be honest with you, it's like those people that just want to be media people, but they're really not. But they're still writing stories, by God, and they're still putting all that out there, right? But I saw this thing after he declined his option, and it's like, I don't even remember what the team was, but it's like, what if he signs with this team instead? And it's like,
no.
His son just got drafted by the Lakers. He's not going anywhere. There would not have been a big hubbub about, hey, agents calling, do not draft Bronny James or he will go to Australia. It was a calculated move for a long, long time. I don't think those calls were just starting on day 2 of the draft, telling people do not draft Bronny James or he'll go to Australia.
Yeah.
I think that part of it was fabricated to make it interesting and to have something to talk about on the second day of the draft, which I've not talked about this, by the way, and I want to say some things about the 2-day draft thing. But let me finish with LeBron first. Again, a 2-year deal. You can opt out. It's a $104 million maximum contract to return to the Lakers. Obviously, this move is in the cards. Bronny was drafted by the Lakers for a reason, and they said the Suns might be a team that could draft him. And it might have actually been the Suns that they said, what if LeBron goes to the Suns? But it's like the Suns, I think that would have been kind of like the thought process would be, if the Suns pick him, then LeBron is willing to play in Phoenix too. Yep. Man, that'd be interesting, having Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James all on the same team with one basketball. How's that going to happen? And so, yeah, that was never going to happen. I think it was clear all along the Lakers were going to pick him, and I don't know if there was something there that said, hey, you have to draft him, because my thought process is, at 55, get somebody you want, pick somebody else, and then just sign Bronny as a free agent. Like, why does he need to be? But it was probably some stipulation, like, he's got to be drafted. He needs to have that on his resume. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't need to be there. They could have easily picked somebody and said, hey, Bronny, sign this paper and come play for us. No guaranteed contracts in the second round, so that doesn't make sense on it. All it is a 255, a number by your name that you were drafted. And I think the Lakers made a pretty big mistake by doing that, when they could have just, like, nobody else was going to pick him because they've been instructed not to pick him. Yeah. And so why do you just not pick somebody with the second round 55th pick that maybe could, some other player? Lakers are not like, they're in a situation right now where they don't need help, where they don't need bodies. They just signed Max Christie to a 4-year deal. And I'm talking to people like he's at the end of the bench, and they'd rather have Bronny there anyway. Some of the people I talk to, and it's like, it doesn't make any sense. What are we doing here? So LeBron, 2-year, $104 million max extension. You knew that, or max contract, because he opted out. It's not an extension. But, I mean, you knew it was going to happen. There's no question that LeBron wants to play with Bronny. We've known this for years. Yep. Anything to add?
The Lakers are in the middle of the LeBron James paradox, if you will, because they're going to continue being this mess until he retires. They're going to do whatever LeBron wants. They're going to bow down to his kingdomship, and no one can stop them, even though they're going to suck. And I'd be amazed if they even make the playoffs this year. I think they'll make the playoffs. They're making moves. They're trying to make moves here in the offseason that might help them out. They won't. I would say they won't suck.
Suck is a general term of teams that will probably have losing records. I would imagine. I'm confident the Lakers will have a winning record. They were 10 games above 500 with not a great team last year, and so I think they'll. I agree with the first part of it. The Lakers right now are doing whatever LeBron James wants them to do. It's clear. And the funniest thing about this was last week. We didn't get a lot of time to talk about this. And that's why I didn't talk about the second day of the draft, because Friday was Wade's last day on the air, and we didn't really talk much sports on Friday. So it's clear that everybody wanted to, like, ESPN was trying to throw this thing, shove it in our face, like, I don't want everybody talking about nepotism. And I'm like, okay, well, I realize that it's happened, and because they're using examples of nepotism happening all the time in the NBA and in sports in general. And I'm like, well, that's fine. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but the definition of this is nepotism. Yep. And it's like, you might not want me to say it out loud, but people are going to say it out loud because that's what it is. And yeah, I understand. There's probably a lot of guys in the NBA that have gotten where they're at because their dad was in the NBA, their grandpa was in the NBA. There's a history of their family being part of the association and part of the league. And yeah, I get it. It happens. Yeah, you're right. It's happened a lot in this league. We're not saying it's wrong. Some people might be. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying call a spade a spade. It's nepotism. That's what this is. Yeah. And so it's like, y'all can complain all you want and get mad at people. And then I'm not going to listen to ESPN tell me what I can and can't talk about, especially the loudest guy that we don't even like saying his name and giving him promotion. But it's yeah. But anyway, I do want to go back to because I haven't had a chance to talk about this. I know we're a week away from it, but the NBA fumbled this draft thing in my eyes. And I get why they wanted to do it. They wanted more people, maybe more eyes on their draft over a couple days instead of just having it crammed in one night. And believe me, that when you have it on one night, it goes pretty late into the night. Yeah. They're giving them too long to pick. Another thing they did add some time here in the second round this year, so they had, I think, 4 minutes instead of 2 to make their second round picks, and so it's quick in the second round. But I mean, you've got a board ready to go, and when you hit the second round, there's probably not teams that have a lot of the same guys because they have different needs. So their boards are going to look different. You can make a pick in 2 minutes. And so the thing that I understand what they were trying to do, give them more time, put more eyes possibly on your product on a second day, and showcase that first round on the first. I love that part of it. You did showcase the first round, all those guys that got drafted, but what it did do was forced Johnny Furphy and Kyle Filipowski to stay in New York an extra day because they weren't picked in round one. Yeah. And so that was a bit of an issue. The thing that I don't like about the second day thing is the production was terrible. They were just in a studio at ESPN. They were not there. I mean, somebody was there live, but it wasn't the whole crew that did the draft coverage the night before. They're just sitting in there analyzing and breaking down draft picks. The production was terrible, I thought. It was a complete downgrade from what the second-round draft usually does. I know Nikola Jokic was picked while a Taco Bell commercial was playing, but there was still a lot of that, and they weren't even at the site on most of their breakdown. I'm sure they were just in a different place at the site, in a different studio, because the second day was at the ESPN studios there in New York. But I didn't like it. I think it was a bad production, and also it is insane to me that they started the second round of the draft at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Who's watching the second round of the NBA draft at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, unless you have a job like me, unless you're actually in sports, like if you're an NBA writer or analyst? Did you watch any of the second round of the draft?
To be honest, I didn't even watch the first round.
See? You probably wouldn't. You definitely didn't have interest in watching the second day because it started at 3 o'clock. You're probably working. I don't know where you might have been that day, but you were here in the morning because I said, I guarantee you Johnny Furphy will be drafted within the first 5 picks. And it was the 5th pick of the second round, but he went to the Spurs and then got traded to the Pacers. But I do remember you were here that morning, but I don't track your every move. I'm not a stalker.
I I was probably asleep, actually.
Yeah, there you go. Taking a nap in the afternoon, a little siesta in the afternoon.
Yep.
But I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't think it's the right way to showcase your talent.
No.
At all.
I think everybody wants to replicate what the NFL's got in their draft, because their draft...
That's part of it, too.
It's become like a party now for the NFL, and I mean, the NHL has started doing that. They had their draft in the Sphere. They're in Las Vegas. Let me just say, have you seen clips from that draft for the NHL inside the Sphere?
I have not.
Whenever I look at it, it makes me want to throw up. It is disgusting. That giant screen that just like curves up in front of you.
I've seen the Sphere. Yeah, I've never seen I didn't see anything from the draft, but
yeah, it just makes me sick to see it. But whatever. Like I said, everyone wants that whole, we're going to have this big old draft that's going to show our new prospects coming in. It's going to make us more money. It's going to be a giant, basically, street party. That's what everybody wants, because that's what the NFL's done.
Yeah.
And it's worked for the NFL, but that's also because the NFL is a 3-day draft.
It has 7 rounds. You can't replicate a 7-round draft if you only have 2 rounds.
Exactly.
It can't happen. Like, you can move it to the next day, and you can't do it Wednesday and Thursday. If you're going to do... I understand if you're going to try to replicate that, do the first round Friday night, and then do the second round Saturday afternoon, not Thursday afternoon. Do it Saturday afternoon, so people will still they're free. The weekend's open. They can actually, if they really are interested in it, can watch it on TV. And I guarantee you're right. I guarantee you the NBA kind of had that same mindset of let's do this over 2 days because it seems to work for the NFL to separate it and do the first round on one night and then the second and third on the next night and then the 4th through 7th on Saturday. And it's like it's not the same thing, dude. You got 2 rounds. Let me just stick around and watch your bleep porch production for 2 hours of the second round when half of these guys aren't even going to play in the NBA at all, and the ones that do are going to start in the G League, and they're probably not going to be on your team for 2 years in some cases. And it's like I didn't like the way they did it, and
it's something else.
And I have no idea what the ratings were like. I didn't look up anything about that, but I don't think it was the right move. I think if you're going to do it, even Thursday, Friday would be better than Wednesday, Thursday. If you did 3 o'clock on Friday, there's some people that cut out of work early, right? You could make that work, maybe justify that, but 3 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon for a draft for a major professional sports league that people are interested in,
no,
that ain't it, man.
Something else the NFL's done is they've made it to where the draft is like this big old thing over network TVs about trades and strategy about who you're going to draft, and it's this thing that when you're watching it, it's almost as if you're watching a game if you think about it, because you're sitting there in anticipation of who is this team going to draft, like the Michael Penix pick for the Falcons. Nobody saw that coming, stuff like that. And you don't really see that in the NBA or NHL. Well, and then or MLB.
Well, yeah, and add to that, the thing about the NBA is they don't allow the trade to happen while the draft is going. They say this is a proposed trade. Everybody knows who's picking for who, and it's like, but they can't actually say that this is. I don't understand the NBA's rules on that. They have to wait until July 1st to open business, and it's like this doesn't make sense. Like I literally know that hey, there's been a trade between the Chiefs and Bengals or Chiefs and Bills for this pick. And the Chiefs are now on the clock. How hard would that be for the NBA to do that? There's been a trade between the Pacers and Spurs. The Pacers are now on the clock. With the 35th pick, the Pacers select Johnny Furphy from Kansas.
Yeah. That'd make 10 times more sense.
Then the Spurs can actually make the pick that they want at 36 and also get the pick swap that they got.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are we doing? Or the cash, I think, is what they got for that second round trade. The first round trade is the ones that they got the picks and the swap. But I don't get it. That's another example of when they had to draft the Kentucky kid, Dillingham. And it's like, I knew that did not fit my team. I'm like, what are we drafting this short point guard for when we just drafted a guard that was 6'5" and fits in our system?
Oh, we're trading him.
Oh, yeah, he's getting traded. But I don't know that. Like it confuses me for 2 minutes, and then the trade happens. Like, oh, yeah, duh. Obviously, they don't need him. That's why they picked him, because he's getting traded. There's things that the NBA does that I think they're trying to, like you say, emulate the NFL, but it ain't working the way that they want it to work.
I'd say they're trying to artificially create chaos.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
Yeah. Sports Tickets brought to you by Kiever Brothers Automotive. We're going to take a time out, come back, talk about Wimbledon, and the WNBA All-Star selections have been announced.
I'm Elijah at Kiever Brothers Automotive in Beloit. Hot weather is here. Is the air conditioning in your vehicle nice and cold? If not, we can help. We have the training and equipment to service vehicle AC systems of all types, including the new refrigerant and late model vehicles. We offer same-day service on air conditioning with no appointment necessary. So don't sweat it out. Give us a shout. Fast, friendly service for your air conditioner can be found at Keever Brothers Automotive, just south of the courthouse in Beloit, or on the web at KeeverBrothers.com.
All right. Get the mic on there. Wimbledon continuing today. Are you a tennis fan at all?
Nope.
Man, that was a quick answer.
I'll watch it if it's in like a restaurant because I'm bored. So not my thing.
Do you watch golf?
Some.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, I played tennis in high school, 4-year letter winner. Not to brag or anything. Just missed state, unfortunately. My dad played in high school and made it to state in 66. And he's the one that, his brothers played tennis. It's just been in our family. And so we played, and so I follow it, and I'm usually pretty in when the Grand Slams start anyway. We're underway in second round action today at Wimbledon. And there are some matches that have already been finished up. I don't like how they're doing men's singles and then they're going straight to men's doubles, and then I got to go all the way down here to women's singles. I'm going to start on the women's side with matches today. Coco Gauff advances in round 2, a 6-2, 6-1 win over Anka Tadoni. I have no idea who she is, where she's from, but Coco Gauff is number 2. She's from America and moved on to the next round. There's a glitch in the system. I was like, why is there a third set that says 0-0 here? American Danielle Collins winning in straight sets, moving on to the next round as well. She's the 11th seed in this year's tournament. And then kind of looking at the top of the draw here, and look like there's anybody that's playing right now that's in the top 10. Maria Sakkari will play later today. The 9 seed, Jasmine Paolini, the 7 seed, is slated to start at noon. And 12 seed, Madison Keys, the U.S., is slated to start at 2 o'clock here this afternoon. On the men's side, the matches that are finished, Francis Tiafoe had to fight back from 2 sets down in the first round, but wins today in straight sets. A tiebreaker, then 6-1, 6-3. The 29th-seeded American is on to the third round. And also, nothing else is completed there. On the men's side of note, Tommy Paul, the 12 seed, just getting set to start against his opponent here in the second round. Tommy Paul, the American. Carlos Alcaraz is up with a tiebreak first set win, the 3 seed, up 1 set to start out his match. Daniil Medvedev, the 5 seed, is it's 1-1 right now. 2 tiebreakers. He lost the first, won the second. He's up 3-0 in the third set. And Casper Ruud, Casper Ruud is the 8th seed, and Fabio Fognini has won the first 2 sets and has a 5-4 lead in the third set on serve. So we could see an upset there with Casper Ruud, the number 8 seed in this Wimbledon tournament. Grigor Dimitrov, the number 10 seed, 10:30 this morning. At 11 o'clock this morning, Yannick Sinner, the number 1 seed, will take the court. There's an interesting match between 2 unseeded players. Gael Monfils and Stan Wawrinka are taking the match, the courts round 2 here on number 2 court. Those are 2 guys that have been ranked and seeded in their time, but they're getting a little bit older and they're not quite where they're used to be. Stan Wawrinka had to go up against his countryman Roger Federer so many times, the 2 Swiss tennis players. And man, I tell you what, if Stan Wawrinka played in a different time, he would have way more Grand Slams to his notches on his belt, and he would. He had some injuries that derailed him, and he's just never really gotten back to where he was there for a brief moment during this stretch of Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, and Rafael Nadal, who have dominated tennis for about a decade and a half. So that's your update on Wimbledon and what's going on there. All right, make sure there's nothing. I'll mention it. It's not a big deal for this show.
Oh, it is for me. I'm part Brewers fan, so.
Oh, there you go. The WNBA All-Star selections have been released. I'll just mention this right now. Aaron Savali has been acquired by the Brewers, the pitcher from the Rays, to bolster their rotation. And who did they say he was traded for Kyle Manzardo?
Yep.
First baseman, and young starters Robert Gasser, DL Hall, and Joe Ross.
So Ray's getting a couple.
Guys, I don't know.
Well,
the prospects?
Prospects, yeah. One of them was ranked 31st in the MLB pipeline.
Yeah.
And so Aaron Savall is a pretty decent pitcher.
He was 2-6 with a 5.07 ERA this year.
This year, yes. But look at past seasons,
maybe a change of scenery might help him.
Ever since he got traded from Cleveland to Tampa, he's been kind of off since he got traded last year. But I think getting traded to the Brewers, where he'll have a pretty good rotation around him. With you got Freddie Peralta in there, and there's I can't remember the other one, but you still got pretty good rotation. That's a good move for the Brewers, who need to pick up a guy for basically pennies on the dollar. And he's going to be a decent guy if he can get control of his stuff. So hopefully they'll help him keep control of the NL Central.
The Brewers better hope that he's better than 2-6 with a +5 ERA if they traded 4 dudes for him. I mean, some of those guys are probably lower level prospects, but that's a lot for a guy that has struggled a bit here early this year. But again, he has had a good career, and maybe he can get back to where he needs to be.
Change of scenery.
Shohei Ohtani will not participate in the Home Run Derby on July 15th, despite the superstar ranking second in the majors, 27 homers for the LA Dodgers. He's taken part in the Derby just once, exiting the first round of 2021 at Coors Field in Denver. Again, this year's All-Star Games at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. And he said, I'm in the middle of my rehab progression, so it's not going to look like I'll be participating through an interpreter. He said that. Obviously, I mean, no way you have to add that to the story. I think people know that. Hopefully it's a different interpreter than the one that spent all his money on gambling. So the Home Run Derby will be the 16th? Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
It'll be the Home Run Derby will be the 15th. The All-Star Game will be on the 16th. So, Globe Life Field in Arlington. I've been there.
So have I.
Where did you sit when you went there?
Third base, left field line, about right at the area where the outfield meets the infield on the second level.
So you're
from
kind of
level.
on the line, not up in the outfield stands.
Yep.
Do not ever in your life buy a ticket in the upper deck in left field.
Oh,
because you cannot see left field.
Yeah, I can believe that.
I'm like, no. I get there. I found my seat. I'm like, no wonder this ticket was $9. I cannot see left field. If there's a fly ball out here or a home run, I'm not seeing it. It's a very state-of-the-art place. One of the things that was wild to me was how much room there is to walk on the concourses.
Right?
It's insane how much room there is out there compared to when you go to Kauffman Stadium. Yeah. It's a mess sometimes. Right. And they widen those concourses at Kauffman, and it's still a mess. It's too narrow in there. And But don't ever buy it. That's my recommendation for not only you, Matthew, but for everybody listening. Do not ever buy a ticket in the upper deck of left field at Globe Life Park in Arlington, because you will miss your sight lines will be eliminated for like a third of the outfield.
Hey, but
and probably 10, 15, 20% of the whole area.
I'll say this, though. Our Globe Life Field has two levels at field level. They have the main field level, and then their second field level that's a little bit higher up and back. That's the level I was in. I think I got those tickets for $50 each. Really great tickets for that price.
Yeah,
that's what I've always loved about baseball.
When I was looking at the places there that are on the field level, either if you're in the first row or first row of stands or second row, I was like, that second row kind of goes more up than even back in some of those areas, and I'm like, this would be a really good seat. You'd be able to higher sight line, you can see everything.
It's amazing. I
like sitting, in the press box at K-State. They've got me close to midfield, and you're up. You can see every part of the play developing and things like that. So it's not always a bad thing to be higher when you're in a stadium. It's more fun to be lower and be closer to the actual players and things like that. But
as long as if
you can see it, it's sometimes better.
It's good when you're higher as long as you're on top of the action.
Yeah.
That's the only time it's good. The game I went to was a May-June game between the Angels at Texas. So I actually got to see Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani play.
Yep.
And then the Rangers actually won that game. This was 2 years ago, the year before they won the World Series. And I got to see Aroldis Chapman, wrong player. I can't think of his name, but the right fielder for the Rangers, not the Angels, Rangers. I cannot.
You said the
The
Rangers. You put them together. Both teams.
But the right fielder for the Rangers hit a home run. I can't think of his name right now, but and they had indoor fireworks. Let me just say that scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that because it's one of the fun things to go to different baseball games, and a lot of years when the Royals were playing, it was like you wanted to pick a game where somebody that you wanted to see was coming from the other team, right? And so we had the one year where we went on the bus trip. We saw the Angels, and I don't know if Trout and Ohtani were both playing or not, but it was early in the season, so there's a chance that they both were. I can't remember now. Yeah. But back, I don't even remember what year this was now. Everything kind of goes together anymore in my brain. I think it was 2012. But we had a family reunion out in Virginia, which in Richmond, which it's not too far away from D.C. So we went up to D.C. and saw a Nationals game at Nationals Park. That's wild. You just get off the train and you're right there at the park, and you just walk in there. And I'm looking up, wasting time. It was 2013, must have been, that we went to that. Went to the Nationals game, and they were playing the Dodgers. And I was like, please let Clayton Kershaw be pitching today. And he was. And so we walked up at the front row of the seats out in the outfield while he was warming up and running around and getting loose, and got a couple real good pictures of him. And that's when Yasiel Puig was like on a streak and on a tear. Yeah. My cousin was a lot younger back then. I'm thinking he'd have been going into his sophomore year of high school, I think, and he wanted to see Yasiel Puig play so bad, and he didn't play. It was Sunday, and he had an off day, and then it started raining. We left like in the 8th inning. It was cool to see another park, and cool to see Clayton Kershaw pitch. He started real well, and it's like, it'd be awesome if we saw a no hitter or something here by Kershaw, even though we're in Washington's Park, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So those are the I think those are only 3 parks I think I've been to. Kauffman, Globe Life, and Nationals Park.
Fun little fact. 3 years ago, maybe it was 4. I don't remember. It's pre-COVID, so it was like 2019, 2020, right before COVID started. I got to go up to. We were up in Milwaukee, and I got to see a Brewers game up there. Yeah. This was the day that was Freddie Peralta's birthday. This dude went 7 innings and threw a no-hitter. I got to witness in person a 7-inning no-hitter until he eventually let up a hit and left the game after that. And Brewers still got the win, though. And that was the game that I kind of became part Brewers fan, because that was just cool to see. And this was against the Diamondbacks, ironically. But yeah, so it was pretty cool to see that. Yeah,
it's always neat to go to different places. I've honestly been in as many NBA arenas as I have Major League Baseball parks. So
I'll say this:
Memphis, San Antonio, and Denver. Like I said the other day,
American Family Park, American Family Field, whichever one it is, up in Milwaukee. It's not the nicest park ever. It's a pretty nice park, but the fans there and the atmosphere is incredible. Yeah, let me just say that.
Yeah, it's you hope you get part of that as the experience as well, of having a good time and being around a rabid fan base. That's always fun too. All right, we wrap up the Sports Ticket. Again, it's brought to you by Kiefer Brothers Automotive in Beloit with the All-Star selections in the WNBA. No real surprise. The headliners here are Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. The rookie sensations headline the 12-player WNBA All-Star pick that will face the U.S. women's national team in Phoenix on July 20th. In the All-Star game. So there's some of those players that probably would have been voted for the All-Star game that were not eligible to be on the All-Star team because they're on the national team. Yep. So Caitlin Clark obviously is not that. There's been enough talk about that we don't need to keep talking about it. And Angel Reese obviously is not that either as part of the All-Star team. See, I wish they would just like on the side of this story have a list. And just that I could read without having to read the entire story to see all the All-Stars. But Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are obviously at the top of the list as far as people that they know. A group is rounded out by Connecticut Sun's Brianna Jones, Alicia Gray from the Dream, Derek Hamby of the Liberty, Jonquel Jones of the Lynx, Kayla McBride of the Dallas Wings, and then... So the players are 10 players that are playing. I'm not even trying to read all this. Anyway, from the Team USA, Nafisa Collier, Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, AJ Wilson, Jackie Young. Those players will be playing on the national team against the All-Stars for the WNBA. I'm sure I can find it at WNBA.com. They probably have it in a list. Maybe that's a little bit better than what ESPN has. Let's see. Maybe they have something a little bit better here. I accept your cookies. Let's just move on with life.
You're going to get hacked?
Yeah. Here, that's a novel concept. Have a list on your story. Dewana Bonner from the Sun, Aaliyah Boston from the Fever is selected for the Team WNBA. Caitlin Clark, as I mentioned, and Angel Reese were, I'm guessing the star by their name means that they're a unanimous selection. First time All-Star selection, actually, is what that means. Obviously, they're rookies. It's their first time at the All-Star game. Caitlin Clark, Alicia Gray of the Dream, Derek Hamby, as we mentioned, Brianna Jones from the Sun, John Kell Jones of the Liberty, Kayla McBride of the Lynx, Kelsey Mitchell from the Fever, Erika Gumwale from the Wings, Aneka Ngumuke from the Storm, and Angel Reese from the Sky. USA Women's National Team has been announced. I named most of those: Nafisa Collier, Kalia Copper, Chelsea Gray, Brittany Griner, Sabrina Ionescu, Jewel Lloyd, Kelsey Plum, Brianna Stewart, Diana Taurasi, Alyssa Thomas, Asia Wilson, and Jackie Young will be on the U.S. Women's National Team, which, by the way, Kelsey Plum went off last night against the Fever. 34 points for Kelsey Plum last night against Indiana. They bombed, or the Fever, the Vegas Aces did, 88-69. Kelsey Plum, 11 of 20, 6 of 11 from 3, 6 of 7 at the free throw line, plus 19 while she was out there. Asia Wilson continues to be Asia Wilson, 28 points and 9 rebounds. I've been telling people this whole spring and summer, while y'all are focusing on Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, understand who the Las Vegas Aces are. They have not had a great start this year, but they are the two-time defending champions. They have a coach that has coached in the NBA as an assistant and is the best coach without question in the WNBA right now, and in 2 years as the coach has led them to 2 championships. This is the team. Asia Wilson is the moment. And I don't care if Caitlin Clark is the moment. Actually, Asia Wilson is the best women's basketball player in the world. And Diana Taurasi can talk what she wants, or people can talk about Diana Taurasi all they want. By the way, Diana Taurasi's comments were blown way out of proportion of what she said and the way people interpreted that in the NCAA tournament. But Kelsey Plum, 34 last night. Asia Wilson, 28-9. They're going to take a really, really good team to beat the Las Vegas Aces when they're all healthy, because that's part of their problem, too, is they've not been completely healthy this year. When they're healthy going into the postseason, hopefully everybody stays healthy through the Olympics. That's going to be, again, the team to beat. It's going to be kind of different, though, with the Olympics happening, all the hubbub around women's basketball. It'll be interesting to see what happens when they come back into their season after the Olympics are over and finish that out with the WNBA finals. So, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. Have you paid much attention to women's basketball with the Caitlin Clark
I recognize
up?
I recognize 2 things, 2 names: Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. I recognize no one else. My sister is a huge Caitlin Clark fan. Does not like Angel Reese. I personally don't like her either, because she is I'm just going to come out and say it, she's a cancer.
She's not. That's not correct at all.
She's
not a cancer, dude. A cancer would be somebody that's tearing her apart her locker room, and she's not doing that.
Yeah.
She's winning championships in the NCAA level, and she's probably going to be the Rookie of the Year.
That's just my opinion on it. But I mean, I don't mind Caitlin Clark. I don't pay attention to it as much as I should, and that's not because I hate it. It's because I just don't. This is one of those things of nothing draws me to it, I guess.
Yeah.
I have no connection to it, so it's like I'll pay attention to headlines and whatnot, but there's no reason to the actual. Angel
Reese is loud and obviously brings a lot of attention to herself, and that in turn brings attention to the team, but she's not at all ever hurt the team that she's been on. She maybe a little bit when she had to take some time off during the college season this year, but that was like a mental thing. And yeah, I get what you're trying to say there, but cancer is absolutely not the right word about Angel Reese.
So you're telling me she's not Antonio Brown?
Absolutely not. No. She would need to be talking for another 17 years to approach Antonio Brown territory from what that would be considered.
Has it seriously been that long?
No, I'm just saying that that's what she would have to do, because she's not as popular and as popular of a sport as Antonio Brown.
I say, has it seriously
with the eyes on him like Antonio Brown. So So WNBA All-Star rosters are out, and the Las Vegas Aces, I'm predicting them to win another championship when that time comes. I got a note from somebody here on Twitter that Casper Ruud actually came back and won the third set, 7-6. So he's not quite eliminated yet, down 5-2. And he came back to win. So Wimbledon updates, wimbledon.org, I believe, if you're looking for that. So that'll wrap it up for today. The Sports Ticket brought to you by Keeper Brothers Automotive in Beloit. Matthew, thanks for being in again today.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to everybody not tomorrow. We're not here tomorrow. It's 4th of July. We'll be out tomorrow, but we'll be back on Friday here on Waterside Wake Up in the Sports Ticket on Kitty Country 94.
State, regional, and national sports talk on your schedule. The Sports Ticket Podcast. Subscribe via Apple, Google, and TuneIn Podcasts or sunflowerstateradio.com.